Okay, everybody, it is January 23rd, and it's time to look at some headlines. And I'll just let you know what my thoughts are, just so that you've got another perspective on what's going on. Again, I'm just reading the headlines of the day. All right, so here we go. CNN. Judge blocks Trump's blatantly unconstitutional executive order that aims to, and this is birthright citizenship. My thoughts, well, duh, 14th Amendment and the ARC case, of course, set out that citizenship discussion. Now, you can go back and forth and say, well, the 14th Amendment didn't really mean that because it was the time of the Civil War, and the ARC case is just kind of weird, whatever. But we have to remember, we actually do have a system where we rely on precedent. And although the Supreme Court's a little bit wacky, we still have some significant precedent and a ton of cases that have shown if you're born in the US, you're going to be a US citizen. So there's that. Next up, out of the White House, I guess, declassification of records concerning the assassinations of Presidents JFK and so forth. Man, we've got bigger fish to fry right now. I think it's fascinating to be able to go into the history and look and see what happened and what information we didn't have before. But on the other hand, there's a lot going on, so I don't got time for that. Next up, Reuters. Trump tells Davos that he will demand lower interest rates and oil prices. Well, you can demand whatever you want. Doesn't mean it's legal, doesn't mean it's going to happen. Senate advances Pete Hegseth as Trump's defense secretary, despite allegations. That's disappointing, but I just remember that Mr. Trump, during his first term, was swapping out his cabinet left and right, and we could barely even keep up with it. So I've made bingo cards so we can just kind of put an X through the people that get tossed, which will be quite a bit, and pretty quickly. Mr. Trump has some anger issues, and so I have no doubt that a lot of people are going to get canned. Next up, LA live fire updates. Multiple new blazes erupt in Southern California. Oh, it's a bummer, and my heart's going out to you, Los Angeles. I know there's some question about whether or not you're going to get funding and FEMA, and fingers crossed, I hope everything goes okay. Next, email demands U.S. government workers report DEI programs. All right, so this whole DEI situation, of course, is one of the bedrocks of the P25 manifesto. So we knew this was going to happen. Now it's going to be up to every individual to figure out how they want to deal with it. If you're in a position where they're demanding certain things that you don't think are appropriate and okay, you can say something. You can go and say, hey, do we have a lawsuit here? Because this is going to be 4 years of extreme lawsuits. So just keep that in mind. Like, you thought his first term had a lot? No. This is going to be on and on and on. And a lot of attorneys and a lot of filings are going to happen and already have happened. We're only in day 3, everybody. Yikes. All right, so let's go over to NPR headlines. A national U.S. judge temporarily blocks Trump's birthright citizenship order, and rightfully so. Again, we've got a constitution here, so there's that. Next, Trump tries to erase Biden's health legacy with early executive orders. Yeah, there are definitely some executive orders that are aiming to do that. But for anyone who's been hanging out with me the last couple of days on the tube, which I will be tonight also at 7 o'clock Central, you know that a lot of these executive orders are really just a lot of propaganda. It's a lot of rhetoric. They don't really have a lot of teeth. They're scary because of the titles and because the language is propaganda. But how they are actually going to be implemented, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how any of these orders are going to be implemented because there's really not an implementation mechanism. It's just, pieces taken out of his rally speeches. So I don't know how that's going to go. Next, National Institutes of Health cancel scientific meetings after Trump directives. So we don't like to see that, do we? We don't like to see people saying, well, science doesn't matter. Yikes. And remember, science was the number one hero when it came to the Salem witch trials and a lot of other situations involving discrimination. Science is the hero of this story, and if people aren't wanting to listen or understand, that's on you. It doesn't change anything. So yeah, it's unfortunate. And I think through his executive orders and through his rhetoric, Mr. Trump has made it very clear that he missed science in school and doesn't understand how it works. But there you have it. Middle East crisis in Syria's Golan Heights buffer zone. Residents fear Israel is making a land grab. Again, anything that's going on in the Middle East, I kind of stay away from because it absolutely breaks my heart. So, Middle East and peace, I don't know what's going on there. Next, Trump taps conservative media critic to lead global news agency. Again, whoop-de-doo-dah. I've got my bingo cards. I'm willing to fill out all of the cabinet positions or all of the positions that have any kind of interesting powers because, I think somebody was measuring them by Scaramucci's because he was only in there as a press secretary, I guess, for like 4 hours. So again, I don't know. I really don't want to get upset about something that may or may not last more than 24 hours. So I'm going to wait on that one. Next, President Trump's suspension of asylum marks a break from U.S. past. True. And there is an executive order in here that sets out basically any of the asylum rules and puts them to the side, right? So even legal, appropriate immigration is kind of being stomped on right now, which of course, again, lines up with what was set out in P25. So that's going on. Trump wants to end birthright citizenship. That's easier said than done. And I would say easier said than done for all of his executive orders. Again, looking at it from a legal perspective, I don't see in here where we actually have, legal protocols here. It's just, oh, well, the department can't do this anymore. The department can't use this word anymore. Like, what? I don't see how any of this is going to pass constitutional muster, even with this Supreme Court. And I hear all of you saying, well, that's his Supreme Court. True. But on the other hand, we may not like our U.S. Supreme Court, but they're not idiots. So there's that. Next, Oscar nominations. We're kind of busy right now. Trump's plan to crack down on immigration and Oscar nomination announcements today. Yeah, I think that really describes where we are at. Blasts from military weapons may injure the brain through its blood vessels. I believe it. This scientist studies climate change, then the Los Angeles fire destroyed his home. Oh, that's so sad. I think the LA fires really are not getting enough publicity, in my humble opinion, but we got a lot of stuff going on here. Couples wed as landmark same-sex marriage law takes effect in Thailand. Good for you, Thailand. Oh my gosh. They have been fighting the good fight, trying to get some democracy going in Thailand. And I am so impressed how their people are really saying, look, we've got requests and we're going to need some answers. So way to go, Thailand. I am so proud of you. And I hope things continue to work out the way that the people of Thailand would enjoy having it work out. Next, this economist survived a wildfire. Now she's taking on California's insurance crisis. Yeah, we've got some crisis going on with insurance, not just California, but a lot of other places. Postcards from the border aims to challenge skewed portrayal of U.S.-Mexican border. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really understand what's going on down there. And if you live in the area, let us know what's going on down there. Do we need to be worried one way or the other? Get yourself sorted out, southern border. So that's it for today. Just skimming through those headlines. I'm not overwhelmed by anything here. Nothing here seems new or extremely troublesome. Clearly, there are going to be some lawsuits coming down, and I'll be watching for those. But as of right now, we're doing okay. Catch me later on the tube if you want to hear me going through some executive orders. Take care, everybody.